Now we're going to look at making a tint of a colour. So creating a tint starts with us in the swatches palette and choosing a colour that we want to make a tint of and choosing new tint swatch. So we've got a dialog box here where we can choose a tint of, in this case 30% of the brown colour, and click OK, and now we've got a 30% tint of the original brown colour. If we want to apply that colour, we can click on the text in the middle of the design and choose a fill and give it the brown tint colour. Now let's deselect all, and now we're going to make a new colour swatch, but this time we're going to make a spot colour. So instead of colour type process, we'll change it to spot colour, and there's a whole library of spot colours available within InDesign, the most popular being Pantone colours. So we choose a Pantone solid coated for coated paper stock, and then we put in a value of 567, which will immediately jump to the Pantone green colour that's got the number 567 and the C for coated, and that will now appear at the bottom of the swatches palette. Now if we want to apply this colour, first of all you should note that this adds to the cost of printing by adding spot colours, so it's not something you would do as a matter of course. So we select the indulgent text and the locations text at the top left and bottom right, holding down Shift key. And now if we go to the Tools palette and click on the T option for Formatting Effects Text option, we can then go to the Swatches palette and choose our Pantone colour. And that will colour that text green. Now we can zoom in with the zoom tool just to check that that has gone the green colour as we anticipated and expected it to, and it has. So we'll view in Window, spread in Window, and save our work. Now we're going to zoom into the three main pieces of text across the middle of our spread and choose the Direct Selection tool, and with that, if we click on the word yes at the bottom, we can see that it's got a fill of green, 100% green as we know, and we want to use that same colour on another piece of text, so we can drag it from the swatches palette onto the text. So if we drag it from the swatches palette, we'll notice that the arrow tool gets a little widget indicating that it's going to fill with that colour. Now if for some reason the tint is 20%, so if we change it back to 100%, we can see that we have indeed got the colour we expected. 100% green on that text. Now we can create, well, first of all let's deselect all, and we can make another tint based on the blue colour. So click on blue, new tint swatch, and change the tint value to one that we want to use, so 40%. Click OK and have a look, and it's now in the swatches palette, blue 40%. Now if we apply that colour to the text in the middle, just select the text and choose the colour, blue. Notice it's a sort of a sky sort of blue. Let's deselect all So if we change the blue colour to something else, the original blue colour, it will also change the tint and also change where it's been used. So if we change its name from blue to violet blue and give it appropriate attributes, so we'll change the cyan from 60 to 59, the magenta to 80, and add yellow 40. If we click preview, drag that down, you'll see that that text which had a 40% blue has now got a 40% violet colour. So we can click OK. And we can save. Now we want to look at advanced gradient swatches, so we choose a new gradient swatch and give it the name that we are planning, green/white gradient. The colours from them that we previously used are still in the colour ramp, the gradient ramp at the bottom. So if we click on the left marker, and we've got swatches as an option, so we choose the green colour for the left hand end, click on the right hand marker, now what we're going to do here is something neat, change it from swatches to CMYK for the stock colour, and you'll notice we've got 18% cyan, 83% yellow. If we want to move both of them together, we hold down the shift key and drag yellow to the left, the cyan also moves proportionately the same amount. So we get a lighter version of that green, and it's a CMYK colour for print. Now if we click in the middle of the gradient ramp, we get another marker, and if we change its location to 50%, it will be bang in the middle of that gradient ramp. And CMYK is still the stock colour option. So if we drag all of these sliders, which is the cyan and yellow, to white, to 0, along with the magenta and black which are already at 0, we'll get the white colour. So the gradient ramp now goes from green to white to a lighter shade of green. We click OK, and let's save that. Let's fit in window. So view fit page in window. We're going to apply this colour to the stripe on the right hand side of the design. So click on it and choose green-white gradient. Now it's a bit washed out at the bottom and at the ends of the gradient, so if we use the gradient tool, we can make the gradient stronger at the bottom left and to the top right, so it only fades across the middle area that we chose with the gradient tool. Let's deselect all and save. Now there's a cool feature that you can use in InDesign, which is to make a gradient run across multiple objects. So if we go to the bottom right of our display, we've got the 6 diamonds there. Let's select them in all together by clicking on each one in turn, holding down the shift key. They're all filled with green at the moment. If we fill them all with a gradient, the green-white gradient, each one is individually given the gradient. And if we want to make them appear as a unit, we can use the gradient tool and click and drag across the middle couple of diamonds, and the gradient will now extend from the far left to the far right through all of the objects instead of just across each one individually. And that concludes a tour of the colour options in InDesign and an insight into the swatches palette. Just have one last look at the final design.